I bought this Range Rover at a wholesale car auction for just $700 in total with a $225 buyer's premium. It cost me $925 out the door, and it even came with all 4 doors. This car isn't crashed or heavily damaged, and it has a clean title with no reported accidents. As usual, I bought it totally as is and sight unseen with no disclosures on its running condition, so we'll all find out together how good or how bad is a Range Rover that costs less than an iPhone. And well, I'm not really expecting much because I've played this game before and lost every single time. My first roll of the dice was this silver one that was a bit older, and when we finally got it to run, we found out it had a blown head gasket and over 200,000 miles. This junker cost me double what we just paid at $1,400. The next one came with most of the engine already taken apart, and well, we tried to rebuild it and threw thousands of dollars in new parts at it throughout the process, and when it was all put back together, we could just never get it to run right. That one originally cost me $3,000, but I lost way more than that. And my current one was a bit newer and the most expensive model you could buy at the time. It's the long wheelbase autobiography with executive seating. Knew it was around $150,000. I paid $24,000 for it, very well used, and it ran amazing for a whole 2 days before its fuel system failed and started smoking. Luckily, we were able to save this one with a new set of fuel injectors, which cost more than $700, and while it worked well for several months after, it recently broke, and I'll be thrilled if the replacement parts to fix its hydraulic system cost me less than $1,700. It's that bad. Now, while this one might look similar to the others, it's quite a bit different. It's the first year of the Jaguar-based drivetrain, and I know that doesn't sound like a good thing, but this specific 4.4-liter V8 was one of the most reliable engines ever put in a modern Land Rover, which is kind of like when your wife tells you that she lost 3 pounds after gaining 10. Reliable and Range Rover don't go together. But I think this slot machine might be due for a payout. Just like the bright lights in a casino, I'm always dazzled by how good these trucks look. Their bodies hold up really well. Even the rough ones can look great a few feet away because they're made out of aluminum. You'll never really see one rotted out from rust, and the fit and finish on the outside is top notch. And at first glance, here in this packed auction yard, this one for $700 looks great. Seeing how well this Rover's held up proves that it was built like a tank. Heck, it reminds me a lot of the M4 Sherman, which is a legendary ground combat vehicle and my go-to in my favorite action game, War Thunder. Whether you take to land, air, or sea, War Thunder is loaded with epic vehicle action and cutting-edge graphics that immerse you in the gameplay. And since it's always rolling out new updates, the gaming experience stays fresh and exciting. In their latest huge Kings of Battle update, War Thunder introduces Flanders. Located on the border of Belgium, the environment adapts depending on the type of vehicle you play. If you opt for a mid-20th century classic, horse-drawn carriages can be spotted along the town streets, while amidst the trenches, the remnants of a downed airship are scattered. In battles featuring new era vehicles, you'll encounter towns transformed into inviting tourist stops, with the crashed airship swapped for a wrecked modern airliner. War Thunder is available on PC, Mac, PlayStation, and Xbox, and it is totally free to download when you use my link down in the description. New players and those who haven't played in the last 6 months are going to get a bunch of bonuses, including rentals for the P-40 E1 aircraft and M4 tank for a week with free skins, a special decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, 3 premium vehicles for free, a week of premium account, and so much more. But you gotta be quick because these extras are for a limited time only, so hit my link in the description box and get War Thunder today. And if you ever happen to see me in the game, good luck. You're gonna need it. Somewhere in this sea full of cars is our $700 Range Rover. We should be getting very, very close, but I don't see it quite yet. Oh, I see something that looks like a Range Rover up there. Oh, that's it. Let's see what $700 gets us. From here, it looks like incredible. Amazing that somebody paid probably nearly $100,000 for this at one time, and I just got it for $700. I would bet you that that factory grill guard is worth $700. Well, what's the chance that this thing actually powers up and doesn't have a blown head gasket? All right, first problem, driver door does not work. It has the TVs in the back. Okay, look at that, TVs in the back. Battery's obviously dead. Will this open? There we go. Okay, so what I'm noticing off the bat is that the suspension hasn't fallen. The battery seems completely dead, not abnormal. That's already open. $700. Let's see. What are we gonna find under the hood here? Relatively clean. If you watch my videos, you know I don't love it when it's kind of clean. I like a little bit of dirt because when somebody cleans it, usually they're trying to hide something. Let's look at our coolant bottle. No funny milkshakey stuff there. Well, the coolant is at the bottom of the line there. Got to keep this up with my shoulder and pull the dipstick real quick. Come on. Oil. Fresh oil. What are they hiding on us? Somebody's hiding something on us. Come on. This engine cover is too clean. This dipstick's oil is too clean. Something's going on here. Maybe it's the fact that it has blown hood shocks. Just hooked up my jump pack and it says the battery currently is holding 2 volts, so that's our problem. All right, now question is that gonna pop? We need to be quick and see if we can power this thing up. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Come on. That kind of even sounds good. I mean, it's got an engine light. Of course it's got an engine light, whatever. But geez, it's got no gas, whatever. $700, I'm not complaining. Listen how smooth that is. No timing chain slap or anything. Come on. $700. Next big test here. Does it have cold air conditioning? Oh, come on. I'm feeling it kind of cold. Let's see. Oh, you're kidding me. Cold air conditioning? That's worth $700 in itself. We probably sat there and idled for a good 15 minutes waiting to get out the gate. We need gas real bad, and that's where I'm headed right now. The only thing we don't know about this Range Rover is whether it will go into second gear. So let's see. Oh, that's first, that's first, that's first. And they're stopping. I haven't felt it shift a gear yet. Come on, shift a gear. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this over. Which way do you put? There we go, we're over. Which gear are we going in? 3. Uh-oh, look, it's stuck in 3rd gear. There is our problem. You see it says number 3 right there? We are stuck in 3rd gear. It never takes very long to figure out what's wrong with the Range Rover. I'm not really familiar with this specific platform right here. I haven't owned this one before with the Jaguar-based V8 in it, so it'll be interesting. But on a quick search, it says that it could be electrical related, low battery, which, well, we currently have, or it could be, you actually have a problem with the transmission. The other big problem, though, is that we're completely out of gas. Like, I am very concerned I'm gonna run out of gas. And the closest gas station is less than a mile, but almost 10 minutes away because of this traffic right here. So let's hope that we at least make it there. We'll shut it off, we'll restart it at the gas station and see if somehow mysteriously goes back into 1st gear, but it probably won't. Oh, this door, this freaking door. Will this do anything for us? No? No, okay. What a pain in the neck this door is. All right, here we go. If this thing ends up having other gears, the first real repair should be to fix that door handle, but let's see here. Oh my gosh, this traffic is not great. Will it start? Heck yeah, it will, without jumping it. Sweet, we even got a decent battery. We hit the road, and as you probably already guessed, it stayed in 3rd gear the entire time. The impressive thing, though, is that it made it home nearly 100 miles away, and it drove perfect, even though it probably averaged around 8 miles per gallon because it won't go into overdrive. It's definitely the nicest $700 car I've ever owned, but it is a bit annoying having to climb through it every time to get that driver's side door open. So let's go ahead, pop this panel off, see what we find. Anytime you see where it says airbag like this on like a little small plaque, this is very sus. It's where they like to hide screws. So we got one there, we got one in there, and then I see two lower ones. There could be something hiding behind here. Let's just go ahead and take those couple off and see where we land. All right, a very simple door panel removal, except there is one harness I can't figure out for the life of me how to get it off, so I'm just leaving it in place and kind of letting it rest on the floor here. We just need to get this cover off, and I'm gonna go down here. I just want it up enough to be able to look at where the cable is for the outside door, and I think that's it right there, that gray piece of foam. Watch what happens when we pull the door. It's not pulling the metal portion, it just looks like the end of it is snapped off. Yeah, see, there's no end there, kind of like the repairs on a Range Rover. There should be a little ball there, and that will be caught by the handle, and it will pull it out. These replacement cables are readily available. They cost a whole $7. I'll go ahead and throw it back in. With our door latch sorted, it's time to face the only other major problem with the Range Rover, and obviously that's with our transmission. Now, I went and looked up the cost of a remanufactured unit, which I'd have to assume most dealers and shops would try and sell you if you drove in with the problem that we currently have. You could buy one for $2,500. That would be marked up at a shop, and then by the time they install it, say they charge you $1,500 to $2,000, you're basically at what this thing would be worth in good driving condition, and that's what they call mechanically totaled, where they deem a car more valuable as parts than they do as a usable roadworthy car. But it's foolish to guess that we need a new transmission. You always got to scan the codes in these cars. So I did, and remember we had that check engine light. Funny enough, we didn't have any engine trouble codes. We just had them for the transmission, and that's pretty common. Your engine light will show up when you have a fault in your transmission, and we had a failure in our solenoids. Now the solenoids are attached to the valve body inside the transmission, and the valve body is responsible for shifting the car. It also contains the computer which tells your car when to shift, and if one of your solenoid fails, well, it can't open or close, sending pressure where it needs to go at the right time to have it shift. So likely what's happening is that this car was programmed with the safe mode, so if we have a failure of a component like the solenoid, well, it just shuts everything down, keeps it in third gear, which is enough to accelerate on the roads and get you home, but it's not enough to continue to shift the transmission and cause more damage. Now, the transmission in this Range Rover is a very common one, shared among many other vehicle makes, and this solenoid issue is very prevalent. The good news is you don't have to remove the entire transmission to fix it. You just have to take out the valve body, which isn't all that hard of a job, but it is a little costly. So before we start spending money, let's just get a little visual inspection in the undercarriage and make sure this thing is really worth it. This Range Rover continues to surprise the heck out of me. Right here's the drain bolt, so this is the bottom of our engine. You see any sort of wet spots whatsoever? Not only is it not wet, it just looks extremely clean. Everything about this, right here is the front diff. It's not leaking at all. Look at the steering rack. The steering rack looks brand new. Again, not a single leak coming from anywhere. Right up there, there's our oil filter, and we saw how clean the engine oil looks, so that must have been done recently. This car seemingly has had a lot of recent maintenance. And right here, where the engine connects to the transmission, is even super clean. This appears to have been recently done. There's not a single drip of fluid anywhere on either side. Here's the rear diff again. Nothing. Everything is like ridiculously clean. And I just want to show you the condition of my much newer Range Rover, which I still have. When we initially got it and when we first inspected it, there was a lot of grime all around the transmission pan. Nowadays, manufacturers claim that transmission fluid that comes with the car from the factory is good for a lifetime, and they generally don't offer this service as a recommended one at the dealer, so it's really amazing to see this old Range with such a clean trans pan. I'm wondering if maybe they try to do a fluid change as a last-ditch effort to try and get the car to shift again. From everything I've seen, this thing is way nicer than I could have ever imagined. It definitely needs to be repaired, but leads me to one big question. If somebody spent the amount of money they did maintaining this truck, why in the heck didn't they just have these solenoids replaced? But then that goes back to the idea that dealerships and independent mechanics don't do a lot of repairing nowadays. They just do replacing. And even though we be installing new parts, it's not an entire new transmission, so it can't really be guaranteed. And well, even though we might fix those solenoids, there still might be an underlying issue with the transmission. It's a little bit of a gamble, especially since the solenoids new cost about $350 to $400 as a set. I know it doesn't sound like a ton, but just put into perspective, that's like half of what we spent on the entire Range Rover. Now there is one cheaper solution out there, and that's that you can buy a remanufactured set of solenoids for just 50 bucks from China. So let me know what you guys would do down in the comments. Would you choose the cheap fix for the cheap truck, or would you spend a little bit more considering the condition this thing is in and give yourself a better shot at success with the more expensive brand new solenoids? And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that button below so that when we attempt the fix on this Range Rover, well, you get notified of the new video. Also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, where I post a lot of updates and new projects before they go live here on the channel, you can find me here. Hit that link down in the description box. Guys, I can't thank each and every one of you enough for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.